how does one cultivate a life that you're actually desiring? And is the life that you're desiring, maybe with money, maybe with power, maybe with influence, is that even real? Like, think about it. What you're trying to chase is some sort of feeling. You're trying to find yourself, you're trying to find fulfillment in the future by pursuing a path. And that path might be the one of revenge, it might be the one of hope or nihilism, but you're trying to pursue something in order to find an identity, in order to cling on to something where you feel like you actually belong and where you actually feel like you're deserving of something. And therefore, when it comes to struggling, when it comes to harder times, is there a way that we can enjoy that? Is there a way that we can still endure the very hopeless days? For example, in 2022, when my parents got divorced, it felt like everything went to shatters, and I'm in a first world country. I've grown up with multiple privileges, but in the end, it's all internal. Your perception of things dictates how you act and how you react to the situation at hand, because some people would have reacted completely differently to me. I went down a path in 2022 of self-discovery, of personal development, of trying to improve myself in various ways. So for example, that meant that I began going to the gym, I began to meditate, read self-help books. But a couple years later, in 2025 and in 2024 as well, this negative nihilistic feeling sort of manifested. And even though I was on the grind, even though I wasn't pursuing or partaking in any negative habits or that would destroy my future self, my perception of life was still all in all pretty negative. I didn't feel good about myself, I didn't really like who I was, and my belief systems had changed, but my internal state hadn't. Why is that? Well, it was because you oftentimes confuse fulfillment, growth, for the thing that you're trying to chase. So for example, if you're partaking in a purpose, if you have a purpose to sort of help people, whether that's to go down the academic route, whether it's to pursue sports, whatever, and you sort of make progress towards it, but you still feel empty. The reason for that is because what you actually did want when it came to this pursuit was a feeling of belonging, a feeling of peace, a feeling of just being okay with this very moment. And many people in today's day and age don't feel good at all. And the reason for that is because we constantly try and numb ourselves, we constantly try and escape. Because escapism is the new norm. It's so easy to ghost somebody, it's so easy to just act like you're busy all day. But truthfully, we do things, even if it's positive, a perception of self-growth or a perception of destruction, that still stems from us wanting, from us needing things in order to feel a certain way. We are always chasing that new high, even if it's in entrepreneurship or school or in a video game. That feeling is still with us everywhere, and we're conditioned to think that we're never enough. We always need to drift away from this very moment. And once we lost the present moment, once we lost the feeling of being just right now, existing as it is, we lost that inner peace, we lost that fulfillment of ours. And I've been fluctuating for the past couple of months between a feeling of peace, stillness, and one of a bit of, I wouldn't say hopelessness, that's probably an exaggeration, but a bit more like, okay, why am I even pursuing this? I've had more self-awareness, that's the correct word. So what I have been doing is I've been trying to just exist and be happy. Not happy, that's the wrong word, but at peace with myself. Because truthfully, the purpose of life is to enjoy the pursuit of it. And how do you enjoy the pursuit of it? You practice being present, and you are present, and you observe your life. And that doesn't mean you can't pursue a material thing, for example, a career, a purpose in business, whatever. Like, I'm doing that too. However, I am not the result, I'm not my thoughts, but what I am is the observer. I'm playing it as a game. I think of life as a video game, and that video game, you can mold that into whatever you want, because there is going to be hardships that your mind perceive. But truthfully, that isn't inherently bad. It's just us putting it's just us putting a label on it and saying it's bad, like anxiety, nihilism. It's bad, it's negative. But what if it isn't really that bad after all? It's just difficult. But what would life be like if you wouldn't have that? You wouldn't enjoy the ups. Because to be able to enjoy the ride, you need to have the ups and downs, life ebbs and flows. And so what I'm aiming at saying here is that in order for you to cultivate a life that you actually want, imagine putting a video game character or a movie character. What would they need to go through in order to cultivate the personality of a hero, or the personality of a desired character trait, for example, patience? That would be to put them through a whole bunch of stress, a whole bunch of work, a whole bunch of whatever, time. A whole bunch of time put into something to make them patient. Because how do you expect to be patient if you can't handle the stress? If you always expect things to come easy? So be grateful for the hardships, because they're the contrast, they're the light. They're what gives you the sort of the positive feeling of everything. And so therefore, as you move on with your life, what I try and do is be as accepting towards myself and towards the situation I'm currently in, accept it with my entire body and my entire soul. So thank you for watching this. I don't know if this video has been a bit all over the place, but keep pushing forward. Thank you for watching.